My point is, if you want other countries to fucking play by the rules, you have to at least show that you are committed to said rules. You can't just violate the rules all the time with the expectation that your foreign adversaries are too afraid to violate them themselves, and therefore only you get to violate them. That's it. Dude, this is not a defense of fucking targeting civilian infrastructure, okay? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that you think sovereign nation states are not going to fucking sit there and watch America and Israel take a shit on all of the previous rules that were designed to keep the world stable for years and years and years, and then not inevitably also say, all right, well, fuck it. Especially after they killed their head of state. They killed their head of state. Do you know how many fucking rules that violates? Are you crazy? Guys, this is so insane that Russia has not done it. Okay? Russia has not done this in Ukraine. Do you understand how fucking insane that is? Like, what are you talking about? I'll step in, don't worry. Oh, they're trying? I'm sure. But like, let's be real. Let's be real. I'm fairly certain that if Russia really, really wanted to assassinate Zelensky, I'm sure they would try a little bit harder. You know what I mean? Like these are nation states we're talking about. The whole point of there is a well-established rule that you just don't do this, okay? You just don't do this. You don't use nukes, and you don't kill the head of a sovereign state. Like, America did this to Saddam Hussein with a sham trial. They like literally, they put him in trial. They found him criminally guilty. They assassinated him after the fact, okay? The last time this happened was, again, Israel killing the Yemeni head of state. But even then you could say, okay, well, the Ansar Allah movement is actually a militant movement. It's not officially the, head of state or whatever. But as far as I can think, as far as I can remember, I cannot think of another instance, with the exception of, I guess, the USSR in Afghanistan, where a sovereign head of state decided to assassinate another sovereign head of state. Okay? These things matter. These things matter a lot. Okay? Like, Gaddafi doesn't even count because Gaddafi was not a direct targeted strike. It was they set events in motion that led to the assassination of Gaddafi. And America has obviously always utilized covert operations. Like, you can say Allende is another example of this, right? But as far as a successful assassination of a sovereign nation, a head of a sovereign state is unheard of. It's crazy. I can't think of a contemporary example at all. Last time a head of state was killed by military action by foreign military was 1870 Paraguay versus Brazil. No, I think Afghanistan, the USSR in Afghanistan probably is a more recent example. But again, what the fuck are we talking about? This is crazy. The IRA tried to assassinate Thatcher. Guys, you are comparing covert operations. I'm not saying America doesn't fucking assassinate foreign heads of state. They do it all the time. I'm saying the way in which you do this matters, okay? Sending in paramilitary units or setting events in motion that cause destabilization on the ground that end up with the death of a leader of a foreign state is entirely separate than going in and using bombers to decapitate the head of a state. We didn't even do it to fucking Saddam. Why is this so difficult to comprehend? The only country that does this shit is Israel. And even then, they did it to Yemen. And you can say that it's not technically the head of an official head of a sovereign state in that regard. The IRA comparison doesn't hold here. The IRA was a paramilitary organization. It's not the official standing military of a sovereign state. The way we did Osama, my guy, also Osama bin Laden doesn't even fucking count because he was not a leader of a sovereign nation state anyway. It's pretty fucking crazy. Like we are, but should heads of state be acceptable targets? I mean, look, that's a separate conversation. What you're bringing up is an entirely separate conversation. Okay? Probably not, though. The answer is probably not. Because ultimately, the head of a sovereign state is supposed to engage in diplomacy at the end. When you lose the war, you still sign off on the fucking treaty, for example. Okay? Like, there is a good rule. There is a reason for why these rules have been around since antiquity. Okay? We are changing rules that have been around since antiquity. Okay? It's fucking insane. I don't understand. Name one head of state that slaughtered thousands of their own citizens and civilians in a single month. Says Hitler, your argument is non-existent and dumb. Benjamin Netanyahu is functionally the head of an apartheid state because there is a one singular state in Israel right now as it stands, both in the West Bank and also in Gaza. And Benjamin Netanyahu has killed far more people. Saddam Hussein has killed far more people. Assad in Syria has also killed a shit ton of people. We're not even doing it for that reason anyway. Stop trying to justify this shit, dumbass. Iran is not Iraq, he says. Yeah, exactly. And we didn't even do this in fucking Iraq. Death count is at 6 soldiers now. There is no justification for what America and Israel did here, okay? There is a reason why we don't do this. Because guess what? When you decapitate the head of a state, especially a religious figure of such importance, it is going to have global reverberations. It is going to cause the state to react in the way that they are. Ironically enough, I think Iran is still relatively restrained in their approach to this. What would America do is the question here. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You can't just like destroy every fucking rule in the rule book and then expect other countries to react in a restrained manner. And then people go, oh, well, I don't know. I think Iran is like behaving irrationally here. No, they are behaving far more rationally than many other countries would in this circumstance, and are very deliberate with what they're striking, very deliberate with their expenditure of munitions. They have a longer term goal here in spite of the decapitation strikes that took place. It's very clear. If you want to analyze it normally, this is how you analyze it normally. If you want me to engage in fucking fanfare and engage in like a partisan approach and try to make you feel better about America's idiotic fucking idiotic rule breaking here, and idiotic attempts of like destabilizing a fucking massive country in the region, you're not going to get that from me. Okay? Yeah, I've been looking back, and the only one I can see where a foreign military intelligence service directly killed a head of state or government was Hafizullah Amin in 1979. All others were either covert support or proxies. This is pretty unprecedented. Yeah, that's why I said in contemporary society, the last time you can go back to in recent history is 1979. That's literally... It's fucking ridiculous. Like it is so unheard of. Like we're moving past it because like Ayatollah's a bad guy, all this shit, right? But like they're not gonna move past it. It's their fucking head of state. You know what I mean? Like what is the expectation here? That they're cheating? Why are they striking back? Like we're so used to just dominating the entire planet that we straight up look at the situation and go, wait a minute. Why are our enemies totally operating outside of the confines of like the rules that we set that we violate all the time? No, Allende doesn't count. The reason why I'm saying like Salvador Allende or all these other covert instances of American action is because America sets up the stage for a military coup and then Allende kills himself. Like all of those, there's a reason why those were covert operations, even if we were directly involved in them. There's a difference between that and America flying a jet over Chile and bombing Allende's fucking palace. Okay? This is crazy. This is a war operation. This is a military operation against a sovereign head of state. It does not happen that way. Khamenei had led Iran either as president or supreme leader since 1981. This is the first time, to my knowledge, that any sovereign leader has been killed in a direct military attack by another state since 1979, when the Soviets killed Afghan leader Hafizullah Amin. Yes. Iranian state's TV says Khamenei was killed in the Israeli bombing of his official residence in the opening salvo of the war this morning. He was not in any secure bunker of the kind he was taken to after the start of the last war in June. Mao Zedong grandma, so your analysis of U.S.-Israel killed the Ayatollah to stir up the Iranian people and Shia Muslims in the region to destabilize the country and region. My analysis is that America and Israel went into this military operation with very different goals in mind. America thought, stupidly, and not even Americans, not even like the generals, whatever, but like Trump believed Israel when Israel said, oh, you can just go in, kill the Ayatollah, you'll be a legend. All of the other previous administrations were too pussy to do it. You're not too pussy. You're actually the man. You got the biggest balls. And the Iranian people are salivating at the prospect of taking over their government. This guy's ruthless. This guy's brutal. Immediately, overnight, the Iranian government is in your hands. Okay? Israel basically lied to Trump. 100%. And you're seeing that right now with the way that Trump is talking about it, right? You're seeing that with the inconsistency in their approach. We just listened to Marco Rubio, who is a much more competent neocon, who came out and gave this also inconsistent message. He lied and he said, Iran was going to attack us any moment. That's why we had to do this, blah, 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 all this shit. They're lying. And there's plenty of evidence that the state is lying about this. So my assumption here is that the Israelis literally told Trump a lie. They said, you will be a legend. This will be easy, in and out. You'll negotiate with whoever you want to put in charge. But Israel had a different ambition in mind. Israel wants to destabilize Iran. Israel wants Iran to not exist. Israel wants to balkanize Iran. Israel wants to turn Iran into Libya, a failed state, right? Israel does not want any Iran to exist in the region. Israel does not want any sovereignty in Iran to exist in the region because guess what? Those ballistic missiles will still exist in a sovereign Iran, and those missiles can still strike Israel if they see fit. Are you aware fans of your former co-host are now claiming that you are encouraging your community to attack the U.S. with Chinese weapons? What? No, I'm not aware of this, but that's pretty funny that they're claiming this. It's true. You told me that. Yeah. So everybody watch Sean Hannity tonight at 9 p.m. Bibi Netanyahu will be interviewed. President Donald J. Trump. Oh my God. He's giddy like a schoolgirl, dude. Oh, Bibi, my best friend. So, where was I? Oh, so we're straight up terror jacketing Hasan. What is this? Hasan suggests future domestic terrorists use suicide drones and gives them specific instructions for how to obtain parts. Does anyone care? Nothing matters anymore. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is all that serious. I think this is like so unimaginably insane that most normal people will look at this and be like, you're hysterical. That's awesome. Can we just take a moment to say how right we were about Jimmy Dore and Tulsi Gabbard? Remember the people that would attack you and me for calling them grifters 5 years ago? Yeah, of course. All of those people were cranks. I could smell the crank from a mile away, And that's the reason why I kept yelling at people. This is how Twitch streamers announce collabs. Yeah, guys. It's so obvious that Israel has a totally separate ambition here than the American government, and is steering the American naval assets to a long-standing potential military occupation of Iran, which will probably collapse the American state later down the line. But that's besides the point. Israel doesn't give a shit because they're fucking suicidal and they're insane. But basically, Israel wants a failed state in Iran. They will try to get that to happen with American military and American service members dying in the process. They'll do anything to get that goal. And it's entirely dependent on how far Trump will go. If Trump is stupid enough to play along with this, it's cooked. It's entirely cooked. If Trump decides things are going poorly, and just goes, all right, we're going to commit to boots on the ground, we're fucked. You can figure that out by just looking at the strike patterns and the strike targets. Donald Trump literally revealed last fucking night, that his plan B and plan C options for who gets to control the Iranian state were assassinated on the first day. Okay? It's so unimaginably cooked. Here is Donald Trump talking to Jake Tapper about how things are going.
Quotes. He said, quote, "We're knocking the crap out of them. I think it's going very well. It's very powerful. We've got the greatest military in the world, and we're using it." I asked the president how long he thought this war might last. He said, "I don't want to see it go on too long. I always thought it would be 4 weeks, and we're a little ahead of schedule." I asked him if the U.S. was doing more to help the Iranian people reclaim their country than the military strikes, if there was other stuff going on. He said, "Yes, we are indeed, but right now we want everyone staying inside. It's not safe out there." He also suggested it was about to get even less safe. "We haven't even started hitting them hard. The big wave hasn't even happened. The big one is coming soon." I asked the president about the fact that Iran attacked Arab countries in the region, Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE. He said that that was the biggest surprise so far for him and his team. Quote, "We were surprised. We told them," meaning the Arab countries, "we've got this." And now they want to fight, and they're aggressively fighting. They were going to be very little involved, and now they insist on being involved. He said of the Arab leaders of those countries, "I know these people, they're tough and smart." The Iranians, he said, quote, "shot into a hotel. They shot into an apartment house. It just made them," meaning the Arab leaders, "angry. They love us, but they were watching. There was no reason for them to be involved." That was probably the biggest surprise. You have to understand they were living under that dark cloud for years, meaning the Iranian nuclear threat. That's why you could never have peace. I asked, okay, well, who's going to lead Iran now? The president said, "We don't know who the leadership is. We don't know who they'll pick. Maybe they'll get lucky and get someone who knows what they're doing." The Iranians, he said, lost a lot in terms of leadership because in the initial strikes, not only was Ayatollah Khamenei killed, but also 49 other Iranian leaders, he said. It was an amazing strike. They got a little bit arrogant.
By the way, if the Strait of Hormuz closes, Japan is cooked. I forgot to mention that. They're even in a worse predicament than China. The Japanese government has stated they have 254 days worth of oil reserves. Also, the Japanese government, or at least not the fucking pliant leadership in Japan that are America dick riders and Israel dick riders, but the rest of the Japanese government has been losing their fucking minds because America did not even give them a prior notice that they were striking Tehran. And there are Japanese nationals in Tehran. So we're not even abiding by previous long-standing security arrangements that we have with some of our most consequential fucking allies. And not only that, but also closing off the Strait of Hormuz. If Iran ends up successfully closing off the Strait of Hormuz, it's over for Japan. They destroy all of Japanese energy. The Japanese government has stated that they have 254 days of oil reserves. If the Strait of Hormuz is closed for an extended period due to the ongoing war, it will be a very serious problem for Japan's economy. But hey, am Israel high, right? Let's go, baby. Fucking nuclear warfare. Fuck it. Fuck it. Destroy the planet for Israel. Let's go. Let's go. That's what we're moving towards, by the way. I just want to fucking put it out there one more time, okay? East Asia, in particular, highly exposed to disruption of oil exports in the Strait of Hormuz, okay? Oh. The U.S.-Israeli war against Iran is driving up sugar prices. World sugar prices rose on Monday on fears of the U.S.-Israel war against Iran, which is disrupting global energy supplies, will prompt Brazilian cane mills to produce more ethanol and less sugar, and also impact the flow of refined sugar. Most ethanol in Brazil is made from sugar cane. If mills and the top sugar producer and exporter use more cane to produce the biofuel, as prices for it might rise following oil, they will have less of the raw material to produce sugar, a food staple and cheap source of calories for developing countries. We are literally rerouting international trade and nuking it. And yes, Iran has officially stated that they are closing the Strait of Hormuz, by the way. As of a couple hours ago, they officially announced that the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Oh, when? What will it take? What will it take for people to literally realize that we got to fucking stop Israel? We all have to get united and stop Israel. What will it fucking take? A group of Japanese tourists land in Israel in matching Israeli vests, singing "I'm Israel High." Okay, stop. This is just a Japanese cult. I don't care about that right now. Fuck you, degenerate. Really? Fuck me. Well, you're getting ass fucked, dumbass. Trust me, you're getting ass fucked a lot worse than I am. You're like, no, I don't care. Israel's suicide mission is far more important for me, an American citizen living in the United States of America. I am literally cattle, sir. I am servile. Strap me to a fucking JDAM and send my ass to Tehran right now. Please. As long as Israel gets to, I don't know, invade southern Lebanon again, I will be happy. It'll be a glorious death for me. It doesn't make any sense. Motherfuckers are like, no. Listen, if gas at the pump is $15 a gallon, I'm fine with that. Why? Because Greater Israel as a project is more important to me than anything else. And we have to take out all of Israel's sovereign enemies in the state, in the region, so that Israel can take over more territory in Syria, take over more territory in Lebanon. This is the only thing I care about. Is that it? Is that it? Is that the only thing you care about? Israel's ambitions? Rubio is now saying regime change is not the goal. What the fuck is going on with this admin's messaging? Because they don't have any fucking real message. That's the problem. They don't have it. They don't have, like, listen, the previous global war on terror was conducted by demonic entities, okay? Dick Cheney was a fucking demon, but at least they had like a fully fleshed out plan here. As far and obviously it didn't go according to plan, and there were many setbacks, but it doesn't matter. Like, there was a goal there, okay? There was a goal there. One that aligned with Israel's interests as well, certainly, but there was a fucking higher priority here. Right now, there is no goal. There is no goal because Israel is fucking insane. Just wait until we start talking about the nuclear option. In the upcoming days, you will start hearing about nukes in the same way that American Defense Department employees were going on CNN in the early days of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. If you recall, they were like trying to justify a potential for Russia using tactical nukes, baby nukes, mini nukes in Ukraine. They literally said that, okay? There was a reason for it, because at the time, there was a nuclear posture coming from the Russian side. And they were trying to see if there was a, if they could maneuver public appetite in the direction of nukes. Here, even Tim Miller at fucking former neocon bulwark saying, reading between the lines, it seems like Israel's just out here yeeting everyone and their cleric while we're just going along for the ride. Otherwise, why would you kill the people that had identified as successors? We have to stop Israel before the entire world falls apart. Okay? This is big if true. Oh, I saw this. Nuxtaco's mangled corpse flying through the Tel Aviv skyline. Stop. That did not happen. And I disavow such things. I disavow.
But it's up to the Iraqi people, or I'm sorry, the Iranian people to. But it's up to the Iraqi people, or I'm sorry, the Iranian people to choose their next leader. It's up to them to rise up and kick this regime out of place. If they do not, then they will be with a different leader, but the same regime. If they choose to get a different leader that we can have a relationship with, which we would love to. Prior to 1979, we had a good relationship with Iran. But if they choose to pick up a leader, Stuart, we will surround that leader, not necessarily with boots on the ground, but with assets to make sure that that leader can be protected, rise up, and then the Iranian people will have the opportunity to choose their next leadership.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. I can't begin to explain to you how much white supremacy factors into this equation, okay? It was preempted because Israel was going to attack Iran, and then Iran would attack the U.S.? Yeah. No, that's... Rubio's statement on this is so fucking dumb, dude. He is such a moron. I mean, sure, he doesn't have an easy job here, right? But you can't package this in a way that makes sense. The logic is we knew Israel was going to attack Iran. We knew Iran would retaliate against the U.S. because of it. So instead of stopping Israel from attacking Iran, we attacked Iran first to prevent the retaliation we knew Israel's attack would trigger. Incredible.
The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact, it bared to be true because, in fact,
yeah, they're trying to repackage Israel's preemptive strike as the trigger point, which it is.
Hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment.
I need you to understand why there's so much inconsistency in the messaging, and it is because, and I'm going to keep repeating it over and over again until it's pummeled into your fucking brains. This is Israel's war. I'm not on some Pat Buchanan shit when I say this. This is Israel's war. Israel manipulated Donald Trump. This isn't to say that Donald Trump wouldn't love to fucking kill a bunch of Iranians, okay? Obviously, we have that ambition as well. But the reason why we went in the way that we did, okay, is because this is Israel's war. And we were just along for the fucking ride. We were dumb enough, the Trump administration and the closest people to Donald Trump were stupid enough to literally think, oh yeah, this will be easy. We will just get a pliant Iranian head of state, not realizing that Israel had very different ambitions. Okay? It's that simple. Because Donald Trump still wants a W. That's why I'm saying this is like Israel's manipulation. Okay? Donald Trump wants a W. Donald Trump thought this would be a feather in his cap. Look at me. I'm so successful. Look at what I did in Venezuela. I'll be able to do it in Iran. Okay? That's it. That's it. And just like George W. Bush is still responsible for everything that Dick Cheney goaded him into doing, Donald Trump is still responsible for everything that Israel goaded him into doing. This is not an abdication of responsibility, okay? I'm just simply telling you why a lot of the messaging coming out of the fucking administration is mind-boggling. Like, it's very confusing if you do not think, it's very confusing to you if you try to take things that they're saying at face value and think, oh, well, you know, America did this because we just also wanted to destroy, we wanted to liberate the Iranian people, or America did this because, you know, we wanted to do a regime change. None of that is true, okay? It's the peak of American exceptionalism that Iran or any country apparently has to be pro-Western. Our leaders act like being American makes you de facto supreme ruler of the world, and then they have the audacity to claim that it's actually Iran that wants to take over the world. Exactly. That is American exceptionalism. It's built into the heart and soul of every American, by the way. And that's precisely the reason why when people say stuff like that, many people even in my community go, what's so wrong about that? They don't even understand. They don't understand that foreign nations can have different cultures, different attitudes, different interests, right? Sovereign countries can have sovereignty away from the hands of being like vassalized beings for American ambition, for American capital, just like a fucking area that you can extract natural resources from. Like, this is the problem. It literally comes across as them cheating. In the minds of a lot of Americans, they think, oh, they're cheating. What do you mean they have sovereignty? What do you mean they have different ambitions here? This is Ferdowsi Square in central Tehran. People on the ground say the bombing campaign is beyond anything they have seen and seemingly indiscriminate. Increasingly, Israel and U.S. appear to be following the Gaza playbook, having failed to achieve a quick regime implosion. I told you, literally the first fucking day, I told you the first day that the initial strikes were limited. And even in the limited strikes, obviously, they killed 100 little girls at school, but it was limited in comparison to what they can do, okay? And the reason why it was limited is because Donald Trump still thought, oh, Iranians will fucking rise up. Iranians will rise up, and then they'll give up all their weapons, and they'll say, oh my God, Am Israel Chai, I love America. When that didn't happen, what did I tell you? That they're going to slowly start increasing the cruelty to the average Iranian population. Are you still defending terrorists over the country that allowed you to blossom? America is the terrorist country here. This is terrorism, okay? I don't want my tax dollars going to this, okay? If you can't comprehend that, and if you think that that means I'm defending terrorists, you're a fucking moron, okay? 100+ little girls at school murdered in the hands of American weapons that you and I pay taxes for, that you and I are footing the bill for. You think that's not terrorism? You don't think we have an alternative here? Are you out of your fucking mind? Answer me. Why are people so fucking stupid? Confirm reporting of your predictions. Tucker Carlson was one of the only figures urging Trump not to strike Iran. In 3 Oval Office meetings, he warned that the war would risk American lives, raise energy prices, and destabilize the region. He argued that U.S. was being pulled in by Israel and urged Trump to resist that pressure. Trump said he understood the dangers, but he felt he couldn't stay out of it if Israel attacked. Yeah, we couldn't stay out of it. We had to get in. We had to get in on the fun. Well, you stop Israel then, dumbass. No counter, of course. I know. Of course there's no counter. These guys don't think. They don't think about the reaction to American actions. They don't think about the consequences. They don't think about how destabilizing this will be. Oh, I didn't see you had me pulled up. I did. Are you not listening? I responded to you. What's the question? I said, we are the terrorists here. Killing 100 schoolgirls at school is terrorism. That's what we did in our opening salvo, trying to destabilize a nation state with 93 million population, with no real fucking exit ramp, with no real opportunity for them to like develop or thrive. When the ultimate goal, led by Israel, it's yet to be determined what happened with that situation. Okay, dude, shut the fuck up. Keep coping, Keep coping, dickhead. That's all you got. You're literally, you know it's indefensible, so you have to just like try to find a way out of it where you're like, oh, that's, no, it was determined. We know exactly what happened, you fucking moron. You can only justify it in your mind because it's unjustifiable by saying, oh, we just don't know what happened. Maybe it was Iran that blew it up. Yeah, just like Hamas blew up every hospital in Gaza, right? It was never Israel. if it wasn't 3+ years of solid Hasbara at this point that no one literally believes unless they have Israel's dick lodged so far up their asses that it's basically poking out of their fucking mouths, you know, with the exception of people like that, most people see that and go, oh, here we go. Here we go. Israel at it again. Yeah, it's so crazy. Wherever Israel decides to strike, the foreign entity that they're destroying happens to always kill their own children. It's so weird. Bro is begging Bibi to finish inside. Him and Trump both. Him and Trump both. But that's how the MAGA guys are. They literally see their dear leader eat Israel's dick every fucking day for lunch and dinner, skipping breakfast, and they go, well, I must eat this dick as well. Yeah, there's a reason why both liberals and Republicans in the MAGA base want to fight back against this is Israel's war narrative, because it's not narrative, it's reality. But the reason why is because it makes it insanely indefensible. It makes it even less defensible than American imperialism, like regular American imperialism, which is indefensible all on its own. But it makes it not only indefensible, but unpopular in the eyes of the average fucking hog. It's kind of stunning to see a major New York Times article clearly vindicating the Mersheimer, Stephen Walt view of U.S. Middle Eastern policy. Edward Wong, the definitive story of how Trump took an almost inevitable path to a new U.S. war in the Middle East. Netanyahu repeatedly urged him to attack Iran with Israel, and no aides voiced opposition. Netanyahu also undermined diplomacy. Regime change became the goal, except regime change is not the goal either. IDF is currently bombing Evin prison and the TV station again. Oh, here we go.